What was your worst job that you have ever had?
All right. So my worst job, little bit of background about me. I've probably mentioned this. I'm from a super small town. The only jobs you can have as a teenager in my town are you get on one of the farms and you're a farmer, or you're lucky enough to work at like the grocery store, or there's really nothing else. There's like one convenience store, one grocery store. That's pretty much it. So you're really just on the farm. Well, on the farm and the area where I live, they grow a lot of potatoes. And oh man, I it's honestly hard to explain, but there is a machine you hook up to the back of a tractor, and you have a guy in the tractor, and then you have someone riding, they called it the potato drill. And on the back of the drill there is like not railing, but like metal that has been welded onto the back of it so you can walk around the back.
Hmm.
And then you have four giant bins. They're probably like, I don't know, 5 by like 4 feet wide and deep. And what they will do is they will load that up with potatoes. And the way they do it is they slice all the potatoes up. There's like a machine that will slice them all up. And anyways, the potato drill does what it sounds like, and it drills it into the ground. Well, what my job was, being this young dumb teenager, and I'm probably, there's a lot of actually cancer associated with farmers that have been in dust and all this stuff. Not knowing that when I was a teenager, and the farm not caring or whatever, because they just got to get the job done.
Hmm.
My job was to stand on the back of this tractor, which I didn't have a problem with. I thought it was cool at the time, but I look back now and I'm like, why did I do that? Because as it's going, the dirt has to be really dry, and like they till it really fine, so it's just a really fine dust. So as the tractor's going over it and as the drill goes down, it kicks up a lot of dust. And so my job was to all day from sun up to sundown stand on the back of this thing and make sure that there's a little, it's like a conveyor type thing with a little, it's almost like a little like plastic. It's not plastic, it's a hard plastic that will scoop up one potato, and it will take it down and it will drill it into the ground.
Hmm.
My job was to stand on that all day and make sure they were all working and nothing was broken, because that's a big, like, their whole field, if one of those gets broken, there's a big line of like no potatoes basically, which is a huge like waste of everything they're doing. It's a waste of water, and it's all about efficiency. But
Hmm.
by the end of the day, I would be just completely covered in dust.
Hmm.
And my first day doing it, I didn't know, I wasn't told to bring goggles, bring like a bandana or anything. And so my first day, I just come home and I am completely covered in dust. Like, you could have beat me against the wall and there just would have been an imprint of me just in dust. Like, it was cartoonish. Like, you look at cartoons where they're just like completely covered in dust, and that was me. All you could see, I remember going into the bathroom, all you could see like my actual like face or skin or whatever you want to say, it was my eyes. And the rest of it was just a thick, probably about a quarter of an inch of just dust.
Wow.
Terrible, terrible job for weeks after. And the worst was inside my ears, because all that dust just would go in. I would take a Q-tip and like try to clean out my ears, and for weeks after I would find dirt and dust.
Wow.
Just a terrible job. There's a reason they give it to teenagers. Like I said, there's cancer associated with it, so I'll probably end up getting cancer or something later on down the line in my life. But
Hmm.
that is the worst job I've ever done. And I think there's a lot of jobs like that they give to teenagers because they don't know, like, well, you don't have to do this. Like, just go do something else. Like, that's a terrible job. It's not good for you. It's I was raised on the farm, so like the danger part of it never really occurred to me, because you're just like, you just do it. You'll be fine. They
How
don't
long
like
were you
wear
there
a
for?
harness or, oh, all day. They work 12-hour days. So probably about 7 to 7. I was on the back of the tractor. Or you mean how long did I work there?
Yeah, yeah.
Um 10, 8 years, I think,
Oh, wow.
like that. So like it wasn't always that job, but that
Hmm.
was the worst like part aspect of working there.
Yeah.
Like I said, I needed money, and there was literally, quite literally, nothing else I could have done.
Yeah.
If I would have been smart, I would have started making YouTube videos or something. But I wasn't smart. So definitely the worst job I've ever done.
Yeah, that like dust like getting in your ears reminds me of when I was a little kid. This doesn't have to do with work, but when my dad raced cars a lot on he still does. He races on a quarter mile or half a mile maybe, like a dirt track, and at the time, I didn't know that bringing goggles would be a good idea or like, something for my glasses. So I would always get like dirt in my eyes and sometimes like in my ear. And like, when I get home, I just wipe off a layer of it. Yeah, I mean, it was fun, so it didn't really matter. But yeah.
Yeah, that's at least that was cool. I mean, at least that sounds cool. I
Yeah.
just sat in a big dust cloud for 12 hours watching race cars. I'll have to find a video of like a similar setup, and if I can find a similar setup, it's pretty redneck.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely there was a joke. It was always, is this OSHA approved? And it definitely
Oh.
wasn't OSHA approved.
Good Lord.
But that's just the way things got done.
Hmm.
What about you? Do you have a
Um,
worst job?
oh yeah. Oh yeah, I do. My worst job was also my first in quotes. It was my first official on the books job. I I had a job with one of my cousins when I was like 14 or 15, but like, I wasn't like officially with them because they were doing construction and you couldn't hire a minor. So um so yeah, but I'm not gonna count that. But my first official job was my worst job. It was at a Best Western hotel. Um,
Mm.
I don't know if I've told you about it before, but I have been very
No.
vocal about how terrible it was there. I was there for about 2 months, maybe, and my first day, I get there, and there are already customers complaining about how bad the service is at their rooms. And mind you, this hotel isn't like an enclosed one. It's like a rectangle, and like all of the rooms are outside. It's 2 stories. All of the doors go outside. So
Okay.
so I apply for this job for like I think it was. This is another thing. They lied about my pay. I thought I was being paid $12.50, and I was being paid $12, and so but at this time I think I'm being paid $12.50. So I'm like, all right, they uh they seem like they need the help, so why not? And I needed a job because my mom was out of work, so I had to kind of be the main force behind our income here.
Yeah.
I should have gotten a job at like McDonald's or something though for like $15 an hour, just something that could pay a little bit more, and that was not as dreadful. Good Lord, that job was dreadful. So let's start digging into it. So my first day, I realized that my trainer is not the best trainer. She had previously hired about a week or two before me, someone who was very experienced in housekeeping, which is what I was doing. I was a housekeeper, cleaning rooms and general grounds maintenance, helping the maintenance guy when he needed it. So, which, by the way, I did not know when I first got there. I was unaware that I would be helping the maintenance guy, but there I was. So, so they're like, oh yeah, and also our maintenance guy needs some help. Go help him like the first hour, and then go to housekeeping. So that's what I did. This guy, the receptionist called him Mr. Clean because he was a big bald guy with a shiny head. So why not? Um, so yeah, this guy all so like the first time he's like, all right, so here's some like I don't know, like thing like tweezer things that you used to like pick up trash into a bucket. Here's this in a bucket. Walk around the property and pick up the trash every morning. I do that and come back. He's like, all right, I'm gonna show you the pool. I look at the pool and it's like filled. It's filled with like leaves from a palm tree and like bark from a palm tree because there's a palm tree like right in between the building. There's the palm tree. There's the pool, and and I don't know what you call it, a monsoon came over like the previous day or so, and then a bunch of stuff blew into the pool. So he's like, all right, here you go, take this net, get all of that out. I did that, and then now it's time yeah, now it's time to go do housekeeping. So the memories are all coming back at once. I'm trying to process what was to say first. So I go do housekeeping. I go to my trainer, and by the way, her face turns into a tomato within like 2 seconds of talking to her. She'll be angry with how her husband is and how her son is like in jail, or in her ex-husband and her son's father are also in jail, and her face is getting redder and redder, and there's a big vein in her forehead, and like she was just like complaining about everything. And then she's like, okay, I have something else to do. I know you're new here, this is your first job, but there's this other guy that I hired, right? He's pretty kick-ass. He's gonna teach you what to do. And she puts me on this guy, and at first I thought he was a nice guy, and we kind of start talking to each other. We have kind of a similar like taste in music and whatnot. And now I'm learning from this guy, this other employee who was hired not even 14 days ago, who supposedly has a lot of experience. We'll get to that later though. He teaches me the ropes, kind of like the essentials, while he sits there on his phone talking to whoever. And so at the end of the day, I thought, all right, sure, I can work with this. It wasn't that bad. Boy, was I in for a treat. The next like 6 to 8 weeks that I was there were. It was the most drama-filled work environment I have ever been in. It was just one day there's someone complaining about having towels in their room. The next day there's a guy pacing back and forth to the mall and back, which is like in like the next parking lot over. He's going to the mall and back, and then now he's yelling about how there's a laundry cart in front of his room, because he's on the bottom floor, and when we're on the top floor, we throw the laundry over the edge into the cart instead of having to bring one upstairs. So
Right.
So he's complaining about all of this, and then my boss, the person who's supposed to be training me, comes out, and she starts picking a fight with this guy instead of just moving it, and they're like in like a shouting match. And then she goes to the main office, to the general manager, the person who like constructs all of our shifts and schedules and whatnot. And then the manager is like, well, he's the customer, why don't you move it? So she goes out and moves it, and then she comes upstairs to me where I'm cleaning the room, and she's like, did you hear that guy? I think he's probably the guy that has a gun or something. He sounds crazy. And I'm just like, okay, yeah, all right, whatever. I'll just smile and nod. I don't want to get involved in that. I don't want you yelling at me like that. So all right, whatever you say.
Right.
But yeah, we were back to like it being the worst job though. I have more stories than I really should from this place. But like in terms of like the actual work though, the where do I even start? Okay, so like the cleaning equipment, they never had my size of gloves. Never. Maybe for like the first 2 weeks. So like, I'm dealing with like chemicals and stuff to clean everything, and I never have the gloves that I need. and I'm starting to get like a rash on my hand, and I'm like, okay, I can't do this without like large gloves. There's like XL, but it's massive, and then there's small, which it doesn't fit me at all. So I that was one part that I definitely hated. And then there were a couple occasions where there was cockroaches running around, like in the rooms sometimes, and then also just out on the like the concrete walkways. That's another thing. Um, so when I was doing like the work for the maintenance guy one morning, he's like, "All right, there is just a ton of stains all over the cement in the sides of the building, like below the windows and like on the little slab that sticks out below the windows. You're gonna clean all of that. You haven't been here in Arizona for more than 6 months. You've been living in a cold climate all your life. It's 100 degrees outside, so you're gonna work outside all day scrubbing this with you know, a hose and a big scrubber. So like 20 minutes into it, I'm like, I cannot do this. So I go to the general manager and I'm like, I cannot keep like doing this work for like the maintenance guy anymore because I'm just not built for this kind of work. I've been you know, playing video games for the last decent amount of my life, and I've stayed inside most of it. And I've been in Washington, and now I have to be out in this excruciating weather and scrub down the sidewalk. So they're like, "All right, you're gonna have to come in an hour later, then you know to only do housekeeping." So that's what I did. The maintenance guy did not speak a word to me after that. The entire time I was there, not a word, nothing. He didn't even look at me after that. He was just done with me. So now I was a full-time housekeeper, and the room there was this one room that and I really should have dug up the pictures because I still have them. But there was this one room where I I walked in and there was dog hair all over the carpet. I tried vacuuming it. It didn't come off and it reeked of weed. Just reeked like it didn't even smell good. It smelled terrible. And
Mm.
there was trash everywhere. The sheets were like the room was turned upside down. And you know, they had to shut down the room because none of us could clean it. It was that bad. So they shut down the room, and and you know, room 25 probably still out of service. So that's that was honestly I am very thankful for that job though because I do have a lot of stories to tell because it was even though it was bad it was a very fun experience.
Was there sorry if I'm interrupting, but was there anyone there that like made it worth working there? Or were you kind of just alone? Like everyone else was insane. You're the only rational person.
Yeah, yeah, there was fuck's sake. So there was the receptionist who I I kind of I did have a crush on. She was at the time like 5 years older than me. I was like 18, she was 23. And then I'm like, okay, so I want to like get to know you. And then come to find out, she had a husband who passed away and two kids left from it. So I'm like, um, I don't know. I'll see what happens, I guess. So like she was just kind of like a fun personality, I guess.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. Everyone else though, absolutely not. Okay, so like kind of going the opposite route. Like easily the worst person there was this guy named Nathaniel. He's the one who trained me instead of my trainer, but he was there anyway. So he was like, "Oh yeah, we should totally hang out, man. Like totally. I am free all the time. Here's my Instagram. Just text me whenever." Never responds. We never hung out, by the way. I gave him a ride home once, and he left a 2 liter of like 7 Up in my car. Never drank it, but so so this this guy was so weird. Like he had supposedly all this experience with cleaning rooms, and then this one time he cleans a room. He leaves a bit early for the day, and the receptionist gets a call, and it's about how the room has a sheet that has a massive red stain on it, and it's because this guy the entire time has not been changing any sheets. He's just been flipping them upside down and then tucking them back in the entire time. So
Oh.
so so he doesn't get a lot of flack for that from like the management because there's so little of us there. Like
Yeah.
literally by the end of my employment, I had quit because I learned that they like flaked out on my pay, and the job generally sucked. I needed a new one. So, like literally on the last day, it was me and the lady that was supposed to be training me doing rooms. That was it. And there's like 80 rooms there. So we did like 50 in a day. I was doing bathrooms, she was doing the front half of the room. And I mean, yeah, we knocked it out pretty decently, I'd say, but God, I can't imagine the day after that though. God
Wow.
damn. Yeah, man.
Yeah, I feel like that's every like person that goes to a hotel's worst nightmare is getting that guy that cleaned their room.
Yeah.
Because I've been in them where I'm like, there's no way this is a clean sheet. And we've got clean sheets set up, and it's just their sheets. Like their sheets are terrible. Like for whatever reason, they haven't bought new sheets in the last like 15 years or whatever. But that is everyone's actual. My wife. That's actually her worst nightmare is going to a hotel and not having clean sheets because it's like it's disgusting. Like you don't know who has slept in that. That's so disgusting. That's bad. Oh
I
my gosh.
I'm gonna try to find some images here because
Okay.
I need to show them.
So going along with that, and you can answer when you're done there. Was there a walkout moment? Like the moment you knew you're like, that's it, F it, I'm done at this place. I don't give a I'm done. Or was it always just like, yeah.
It was like a culmination of moments because there are some things that I didn't mention that I have here in the photos that oh, that's a good one. That like it's just a culmination of stuff. Okay, yeah. It's just a culmination of poor management and like what I am about to bring up here in a minute. Homeless people leaving their belongings on the property, and the and like the employees just like generally not not really caring. Yeah. It was just a very poor experience. That I that just kind of left me wondering why I stayed there as long as I did. So, yeah, it wasn't pretty.
Yeah, you'll have to show some pictures what you can show.
Yeah.
No, I was just wondering because um
Those are just
I don't know.
yeah. Okay. All right. Here we go. Here are some of the images here. As you guys can see, it is this picture that we are looking at right now. is a photo of a homeless person's belongings that were just left underneath the stairs of the place. Yeah, there it is. This picture right here, with all of the laundry on the floor in the hotel room, was a picture of. Well, I took a picture of this because a housekeeper, just piled it there and then left. That's all that they did. They piled it there and left, and then that was the end of that. Let's see, what else do we have? Oh, that's a good one. That's not really what I. It's not really like rotated well, but anyway, yeah, that is a bin that well, like I said before, that's like the bins that you would put out below, and then people would throw it down from the second floor. Well, obviously they missed a bunch and never picked it up. Uh, this this one this one is honestly my favorite. Um, it's a picture of a woman's bra and some Fireball left and some messy
Yep.
sheets. So I'll also leave you with that. Um, this one is the good old laundry room, ladies and gentlemen. The
Oh
laundry
no.
the laundry room was always like this. Always. It's because we never had someone doing laundry. It was always like this. It's just stacked to the brim because we didn't have a laundry person, and like my boss would end up having to go to do the laundry on top of doing the rooms. So or like the receptionist would have to. That is seemingly a vibrator in the trash. Um there's a cockroach outside the door of one of the rooms, and there's the homeless people's belongings again. So yeah, that's some fun stuff. Some fun stuff.
And can I just add that I think you probably have it a little worse where you're at, but that is a massive cockroach.
Yeah.
Like people don't understand how big cockroaches get in the American uh region that we live in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. At that place, they were massive. Luckily, I only saw like one or two. So, but still, that's one or two too many. So,
It's kind of meaty. He's got some girth to him.
oh yeah.